Only dangerous people can be morally good. This is a topic that I want to talk about because I've seen it online and there's been a lot of controversy that I've seen around it, but it is a quote that I 100% agree with. Only dangerous people can be morally good. Let me actually break down what that means, because you're like, what does that even mean? You're not Sigma, you're not Alpha. Like, what are you talking about? Only dangerous people can be morally good. I mean, you are never, say you've been a good person for, say you're 15, you've been a good person your whole life. But say you've never had the opportunity to get in a fight, and you make fun of someone. You're like, oh my gosh, that person got in a fight. They're such an idiot. Like they're such a chud. Like how could they do that? In reality, you have no right to attack that person for getting in a fight because you've never had the opportunity to fight. Um, Same with bragging about your discipline. You can't judge people for having sex and gooning and being lustful with other women all the time when you've never had the chance to say no. You can't judge people who are vaping and drinking all the time if you've never been able to look at a drink or a vape and say no. Um, and this is really controversial because people have this ego and this pride inside of themselves that makes them say, hey, like no, like I'm better than that. Like I would never do that. But the reality is that they've never had the chance. You know, um, I like to use rich people as an example for this because a lot of rich people make very morally questionable decisions. And they're terrible decisions that affect a lot of people negatively. But the reality is that it's like, okay, all billionaires are bad. It's like, okay, well, the reality is that most of the people who say that, like 99% of the people who say that, if they were billionaires, they would also be bad. When you sell yourself to that kind of pride and that level of disgust, you're selling your soul to the devil at a certain point to achieve that level of status. And when you do that, whether you believe in the devil or not, you are ultimately giving up your sense of self. Like, say you're addicted to lust, and you're broke. Okay, you just go goon. You just go on the hub every day. You know. But if you are addicted to lust and you're a millionaire, then suddenly you're going out to the club every night. You're getting strippers. You're doing all of these different things. And it's like, so who is the person who goons and has no money, so can't do that, to say, oh, you're bad, you know? Because you don't even have the opportunity to be morally good. That isn't to say that you can't try and be morally good in every way that you can. But it's like, if you get in fights or you're upset every day, like if you get in fights with people in your friend group all the time and you're just always in some kind of drama, whether that's at work or at school or at home, depending on how old you are, whatever. And if you're always getting in fights, guess what? If you had the status and the money to be a politician, you'd be just as hated as they are. If you can restrain yourself at home and not fight with your family despite wanting to, or if you can have the opportunity to goon or to hook up with somebody and say no, if you had that money, you wouldn't go out to clubs and get hookers. If you are broke, if you have $500 to your name, but you still give to the homeless man on the side of the street, if you push away the carts that are on the road or in the middle of the road at a grocery store because chuds leave them out, like, you are the person that when you're rich, you would be environmentally friendly, or you would be charitable and give away a lot of your money to people who need it. These actions that you make now, to the best of your ability, shape who you would be if you had the chance. If like You really need to watch every action that you take, and everyone's gonna make mistakes, and the important thing is that you learn from them. But like this actually really bugs me because I go to the store probably once every 5 days to get meal prep. Like I got my milk right here. I drink one of those a day, and I go there, and every single time I go there, it's at like 1 in the morning, and there's just carts everywhere, like on the sidewalk, on the grass, in the middle of the road. Like there was a stack of carts, like 10 carts long, sticking out halfway into the road. And I genuinely just went up to it and I pushed them in the cart holder more. And they weren't in the road anymore. And there was 15 carts sticking out into the road. Like, it took 15 people to be like, okay, like, why aren't we just pushing this in more? Like, why aren't we spending an extra 3 seconds of my time to just help it out so everyone else has a better time? And this person walked up to me. He's like, oh, you're like a volunteer, yeah? And I was like, yeah. He's like, nice, you know? And it's like, well, if it took 15 carts to be the one person to actually go and do it, like, what? Am I like the bottom, like the top 5% of people who are willing to put away a cart at a grocery store? Like, even something as insignificant as pushing away a cart at a grocery store, like, oh, there's jobs for that. Like yeah, there's jobs for that. Realistically, it's like not insanely deep, but like the simple action of me putting away a cart at a grocery store, or somebody else putting away a cart at a grocery store when they could leave it out like everybody else, that compounds. And when you have the ability to help somebody on the side of the road, those are the people that are gonna go do that. Those are the people that are gonna go help. And God watches your actions. If you can't be trusted to save $1,000, you know, or $2,000, if you can't be trusted to save your money, do you really think that God is going to give you a lot of money? If you can't be trusted to eat correctly and show up to the gym, do you think that God is going to give you the physique that you want? If you can't control your right hand and you can't control your lust, do you really think that God is going to give you the opportunity to have sex? Everything in life is a test, and you need to view it that way, because when you view everything as a test, you start to look for the right answer. If I went about my life doing everything that I wanted, I'd probably be a fat chud. I would be not making this video right now. I wouldn't have the physique that I do, you know, in the most humble way that I can say that. I wouldn't have my faith in God. I wouldn't have as great of friends as I do, because I would be a worse person and I'd be a chud, right? But because I started viewing everything as this test, it really opened my eyes to like every action that I take. Like, oh my gosh, like when I'm at the store, I could have gotten chocolate milk, right? But I got this because it has the most calories and the protein, and it's the healthiest for me, right? At work, I could leave some work up to my other coworkers and I could just not care, but I decide to help them anyways. And that's like a little test. And everything in life is a test. And no matter where you are or who you think you are, like I'm not perfect by any means in any way. I have a lot of flaws, and I actually consider myself to be a lot worse of a person than most people are. But the reality is that you need to recognize that, one, you are not perfect. And you never will be. At least not in this life, depending on your religious beliefs. 2, everyone around you is just like you. Think of like the worst person you know, like not any famous person, like the worst person that you know personally. Think about them and you're like, oh my gosh, I hate that person, you know, I hate that. But the reality is that if you actually sat down and got to know them, you'd probably end up feeling sorry for them. You need to realize that you are like everyone else. And when you realize that everyone is the same and no one has any sort of advantage over you in the end, you know, like, oh, but they were born rich. Okay, well, why does that stop you from trying? That's what I'll leave you with. Recognize that you are capable of anything. And the sooner that you stop blaming other people for your shortcomings is the sooner that you will become the person that you need to be and that you want to be. And that is so important. Become the person that you need to be and try every single day. When the opportunity comes, pass the test so that you can prove to God and to yourself and to the universe, the world, whatever, whoever, that you deserve to be the person that you want, that you deserve to have what you want. That's all. Have a good night.